Hi everyone, I'm Jody of Lambit Crochet, and for this tutorial I'll be showing you how I made this adorable boho tassel necklace. Now this piece is great for beginners. It's a wonderful piece to have on display at your next market event. It is very cost efficient, so you can include it as a gift with purchase, you can list it in your Etsy shop, or simply make it for yourself and add it to your own personal jewelry collection. If you would like more information about how to make this necklace or prefer written instructions, please visit my blog. I'll have the link posted in the description box below. Alright, now let's get to it. Here are the materials you'll need to make this necklace. Some medium weight cotton yarn, a 4.5mm crochet hook, 10 small wooden beads, 5 on either side of the tassel, and then I used 3 larger decorative wooden beads for the top of the tassel, a pair of scissors, a darning needle, but be sure that your darning needle is able to glide through the center of your beads with relative ease. Okay, so to begin, you're going to start off by threading your yarn through your darning needle. The easiest way to do so is to take the tail end of the yarn and pinch it in half like so, and then push that through the opening of your darning needle. Now add your 10 small beads to the yarn. When you've added your 10 beads, just glide them down the yarn to give you a little bit of room to crochet. Then remove the darning needle and pick up your crochet hook. Now make a slip knot and chain 25. Once you have your 25 chains complete, slide the first bead up to your crochet hook and make a chain around the bead, keeping your tension nice and tight. Then chain 5. Slide up the next bead, make a chain around the bead, and then chain 5. Repeat until you have a total of 5 beads added, but after adding the 5th bead, instead of chaining 5, you're going to want to chain 11. Once you've made your 11th chain, slide up the next bead and repeat the same steps as you did for the first half of the necklace. But once you've finished adding the last bead, instead of chaining 5, you're going to want to chain 25. When you're finished making your 25th chain, join to the very first chain of the necklace with a slip stitch, then cut your yarn, tie off, and weave in your ends. Okay, so now we're moving on to making the tassel. So you're going to want to grab any rectangular object that's relatively flat, like a piece of card, a book, a phone. I'm using this shallow dish. Then pinch the tail end of the yarn at either the top or the bottom of your object. I always choose the top, just as my preference, and then begin to wrap the yarn around your object as many times as needed until you reach your desired thickness. When you're happy with the size of your tassel, snip your yarn on the same side that the tail is on and slide off all the strands of yarn from your object. Now you're going to cut your loop of yarn in half, but be sure you make your cut in between both tails. Now you have your multiple strands all relatively close to the same size. Now you're going to cut a strand of yarn about 6 to 8 inches in length, and then knot it around the center of the tassel strands. It doesn't have to be perfect, just eyeball the center and then tie a nice tight double knot. Now bring the tassel strands together and make them nice and smooth. Next, you're going to want to cut a strand of yarn that measures about 3 times the length of the tassel. Now take that strand of yarn and line it up with the bottom portion of the tassel. So this portion here is going to blend in with the tassels, and now with your finger, hold that strand of yarn in place at the very top of the wrapped portion. So where the highest point of the wrapped portion will be, that's where you're going to want to hold that strand of yarn down. Then begin to wrap the yarn around the tassel in a downwards facing motion. Once you're happy with how thick the wrapped portion is, start wrapping in an upwards facing motion. So you're going to have 2 layers of yarn wrapping around the tassel. Now keep in mind, when you're wrapping the yarn around the tassel, you're going to want to keep a nice tight and controlled tension. If your tension is inconsistent and you have some loose sections, you're going to have lumps and loops sticking out of the wrapped portion, and your tassel's not going to look very tidy. So once you've wrapped all the way up to the top, you're going to want to grab your darning needle and then thread the yarn through the darning needle. And then you're going to push that needle in behind the wrapped portion on your tassel and pull the yarn through. Be sure not to pierce any of the strands of yarn as you pull your needle through. You want to keep everything nice and smooth, and then pull very tight, because this is how you're going to secure the wrapped portion around your tassel without having to knot it. Now smooth out the tassel and trim your ends. Be sure you use your sharpest scissors that you have on hand to do so, to keep your ends looking nice and clean. Now grab your darning needle once again and thread the top 2 strands of yarn through your needle so you can attach your decorative beads. When both strands of yarn are threaded through your darning needle, grab your beads and then attach them to your tassel. If possible, try to use some decorative beads that do have a little bit of weight to them. It will make your necklace look much nicer when worn. Okay, now grab your necklace and go to the 6th chain of the 10 chains in between the 5 beads on each side of the necklace. And that's where you're going to attach your tassel. I used my crochet hook to loop it through the 6th chain, then I added a knot to secure it. Then I finished it off by taking my darning needle, weaving the tails through the beads on the tassel. This keeps the tails hidden, not adding any extra bulk, keeping things looking nice and clean. Now, if the tails of your tassel are a little bit too short to first thread them through the darning needle and then bring them through the beads, you can always take your darning needle and place it in the beads with the opening facing up, then thread the tails through the opening of your darning needle, then pull the darning needle through the beads. And this is what it looks like when it's all finished. I hope you liked this quick little project. I thought it was really cute and it adds a really great boho flair to any outfit. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if so, please give me a like and share some love in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell button so you'll always be notified when I have a new video uploaded. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, so pop on over, give me a like and a follow, and you can tag me in all of your crochet related posts where you learned a new technique or pattern from watching these tutorials. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you real soon.